Hey, girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
Welcome back to Girlfriends of a Certain Age. We are live and celebrating Jessica Neighbor, who just turned 50 yesterday. And this is big. Today's episode, make no mistake, is all about my girl. We are here to honor her. We are here to celebrate her. We are here to bear witness. We are here to receive. We are here to celebrate and just amplify all things you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. That is a lot to take in. That is a lot. And true confession, everyone, when we were getting ready for today, I was like, okay, so I know we're going to discuss my birthday, but should we have another topic? And you were clear. You were like, no, we are making it very clear that this is all about you.
Yeah.
And I love that you did that because I think so many of us feel a little discomfort with having, that center of attention. In fact, I was talking with a friend who turned 50 a couple of years ago, and she said, oh, I really don't like being the center of attention, which I respect. I think some people truly that is not their jam. Like, do not throw those people a surprise party. They will really not.
They will never speak to you again.
They will not be into it. But that I think all of us have a little bit of built-in discomfort, and recovering good girls.
Yes. Do I get to take up this much space? Is it cool to celebrate my birthday loudly after the age of 25? Hell to the yes. Hell to the yes. And so whatever that looks like for you, we are here for that.
I love that.
As extroverted, as introverted,
right?
As ambiverted, whatever that looks like.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, girl, right now I am feeling really good. I'm feeling really solid. I'm feeling rich with my life because, you turn 50 and you really take an assessment.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I consciously was trying to just ride the wave and be in the good space of it all. But subconsciously, I was working some stuff out, girl.
Yes, I know.
But I was like, at the end of the day, it's like, that's what a full life is.
Yes.
It's all of it.
And the privilege of being in a place in your life where you can, you can take a deep breath and lean back, like you are in a place in your life that you have created for yourself with your wonderful husband, Paul, with your children, with your business. You have created a life that affords you some space to take a step back and to question and to cry about it and to journal and all the things.
Yes.
And to assess, what are you at this stage of your life? Who are you? What have you done? What is your legacy so far? And what's the legacy coming? Exactly. Girl, I know you. I think some people might think, 50, she's going to start slowing down now. I know about your ambition.
Yeah.
I know what you're calling in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're calling in some fun stuff.
Yes.
So, yes, thank you. Because it's true. It's like to really be comfortable with all of the complexity that it is to turn 50, y'all. And I think for all those big milestones, because I was remembering that I felt so old when I turned 30. That decade freaked me out. And then I love my mom and my aunt. I celebrated with them as well as with some other family yesterday. And then we're going to have our party on another date. But they were so cute because here they are in their mid to late 70s going, 50, you're a baby. So it's all relative. Right. And that's the irony of it, is like, it's us on our life journey. And it's a moment for us to kind of be in that space. But what I have noticed about turning 50 at large is that it's loaded, right? It's loaded. We know that there's a little bit of that societal message that we unpack all the time in here about women expire and what does that all mean? We also know that our mission of this podcast is literally to embrace midlife and just try to build on that and just be in celebration of it. So I was giggling that on the one hand, intellectually, I was very much in the headspace of I'm embracing this. I would have dreams where I would have I was basically having a midlife crisis in my dreams. I was crying one dream about not being able to exercise. I was in this boot camp. I do not like boot camps, but for some reason I was in one and they were having us run 5 miles. And I was like, I can't do it, guys. And I was the one person in the group who couldn't.
Oh.
And that was a really trippy dream. And then I had one that was actually kind of hilarious with my musical improv group where I was in a play. and I was a lead role and I could not remember my lines. And what's ironic about that is in improv, you're making up your lines as you
Right. There's
go.
nothing to memorize.
So I'm like, hey, we're in a different place now. But then what was hilarious was I turned to my director, who's actually our director in real life, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting my lines. And he goes, well, at least you're not drunk like the other co-lead. And I looked over, and the other co-lead was like totally inebriated. So it was just one of those like anxiety performance dreams. So I was like, this is interesting. Like, my health, my ability to perform, like all of these things that I'm working out. And so I guess I just wanted to put all that out there to be totally honest that like it was a beautiful day. I was loved up. I'm continually loved up by you and all my dear friends. Like it is a beautiful thing, but it's a mixed bag. So in a funny way, I almost think that these kind of milestone birthdays, we should almost say happy-ish birthday to people. Only
Mm.
because it's loaded and it is happy, but it's also looking at what was, accepting what might be a little more of a limitation, facing mortality. Like there's a lot about it. And happy-ish in kind of a silly, loving,
Mm.
joking way,
Yeah.
just to say that, sure, birthdays are happy. Birthdays are also pretty intense. So maybe happy-ish.
Happy. It's just feeling a little complicated because when someone says happy birthday, what their wish for you is that I wish you happiness.
Well, that's right.
And
That's
I
the
wish
wish.
you a happy your own personal new year.
Yes.
So, right, like, so what's happening for the other person? That's why we need our close friends. So we can say, this one's a happy-ish, right? Or
Yeah.
to tell on our podcast,
Yeah.
to share with our other girlfriends.
Well, and maybe I'm responding to this pressure that maybe I put on myself, which is when I hear the happy birthday and I got a lot of beautiful messages. It's like, I'm happy, but I'm also other things.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I can
Yeah.
see that and you're actually doing it. You're working through all those feelings
Yep.
right here and you're giving that voice because I know thousands of girlfriends are like, oh, that's
I
an interesting way to articulate what's been happening for me too.
I just want to
So
be
that's interesting.
totally real. I just want to
Yes.
put it all out there, which is like, yes, 50 is fabulous and I'm going to rock it and I want to be in it, but also like it's not just one thing. And you're right that when someone wishes you a happy birthday, it's them also saying I love you.
Yes. And I see you.
And I see you and I
Yeah. And I
celebrate you
honor you.
and I honor you. And so
Mhm.
I want to take that in and say, I love that. And maybe going back to the one buddy who was like, oh, I don't like big parties. It makes me the center of attention. Maybe in a funny way, rather than me interpreting that as, oh, I should be so happy. It's like, oh, wow, look at all the love. Look at all the messages. Look at all the people who are
Mhm.
saying, I see you. I see you in this moment. I'm happy you're in my life. And I want to let you know on this special day that I see you and care about you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
How many people do you think who were wishing you a happy birthday knew that you hit 50?
A lot, a
Okay.
lot. And what was really fun was like my cousins, some of my dear friends were all in the same age group. So there was something really fun from them, especially the
Mm.
ones who've kind of crossed over that, saying happy birthday, like welcome to the club, welcome to the new decade. There was something really fun about feeling like they're witnessing this rite of passage with me. So a lot of people
Mm.
knew it was 50.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Was anyone weird about it? I feel like I had some people who were like, happy 50, like kind of whispering, and I was like, we ain't nothing to whisper about. Did you have any of that?
I did. I did. I've got a few people who were like, "Oh, it should be a whispered thing. Like we won't mention the age." And in
Mm.
a loving way.
Mm.
Like from them it's like, "Oh, it would be rude to mention now that you're officially old, right?" There was one person who kind of joked that, "Oh, now you can forever be 48 or whatever that
Mm.
magic number is for
Mm.
them." I always think when you hear those things, it speaks volumes about them.
About them.
That's what that is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That is them. And I saw a really cool thing on social media about who were they chastising? Oh, it was Andy McDowell, my gray curly sister
Mm.
actress. And
I'm
I love
loving her
her.
right now. Oh
I
my
am loving
gosh.
her. So in an interview clip, she mentioned that someone Someone mentioned to her, because she's a beautiful, radiant woman, how does it feel to not have your beauty anymore?
Oh, hell no.
Essentially, I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
And it was a younger woman asking her, it was a journalist. And her response was so brilliant. It was like, oh, honey, is that what you feel about aging? Like that was all about her. And she said,
Mm,
I'm so sorry because I actually feel beautiful in a different way. You know, it's not my young way, but it's a different way. And I hope that you can learn to feel that for yourself. Because otherwise that's the way you're going to be looking at getting older. Is that it's
that
just a
is
losing
a
game.
smackdown. Andy just handled that business. Oh my gosh.
She nailed it.
She nailed it.
She nailed it. So yes, I
Mm.
got a couple of those funny compliments. Yeah, one other one was like someone was showing an old photo of me and someone was like, "Well, you sure look different." And it was like, yeah, it's called living.
All growing up.
It's called that was half a lifetime ago.
Mm.
Which
Again, speaks about them and
right?
how they're seeing and feeling about themselves, shifting and changing.
Yes,
Can I ask, was it a man or a woman?
that was a man.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Who
Well,
had
that
no business like
saying shit to you about any such thing.
and it was like again it slipped out. He was lovely, otherwise it's like it just is, it's everyone's working their stuff out.
Yes.
Everyone is working their stuff out.
And now it's seen as brave, Pamela Anderson not wearing makeup and being just who and what she is now and owning that
Mhm.
and parading it. And everyone's like, she's so brave. Or Sarah Jessica Parker going great. That's just brave. Andy McDowell. How
Yeah.
does it feel not to be pretty anymore?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Right.
And so the culture is so built up around us staying the same and looking the same and feeling the same and acting the same and not causing any waves because of the shifts that are happening inside of us.
Yeah.
When you and I are now old enough to know, like, the shifts and the changes, that's what's making it get good.
100%. Life is just getting richer.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm so thrilled for the life ahead of us because it's a new era. Like it feels more internal. It feels like I can sit with my thoughts more. I can go deeper. There's life experience that we have that we can share with other people, that we can have with ourselves. I mean, this time is just amazing. I wouldn't,
Mm.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to be a youngin' again. You can have that
Oh,
any
me
day.
neither. Oh, just all the insecurities and worries and just questions and lack of foothold in life. Like, what am I? Who am I? What can I do? What am I here for? How am I meant to serve? How can I give back?
Right.
A lot of that is very unknown from
Yes.
an authentic place. We can model other people, but from truly what is inside of me or inside of you,
Yes.
we don't know that until we've been there, done that,
It's the
fallen
journey.
on our face.
It's right. It's the part of the journey where it's like my journey's beginning. Which way do I go? Right. By now, we've got a pretty well paved path and we can always go to start a new one. Right. But there's something beautiful about that. There's something so earned about that.
Absolutely.
And the power of an older woman, the power of, I mean, older people in general too, that like, we have such a great place that we should be honored for. Look at me all getting up on my feeling about that, but like it's true.
Yeah.
And then we just have to hold that space because so often reflected back to us is chase the youth, don't change,
Exactly.
don't age.
Well, really, when I hear people with the don't change part, it's
Yeah.
if you change, then I can't be my old self with you. Now,
Oh,
it pushes me to change.
interesting.
The more honest you get, the more honest I want to get to receive it and hear you.
Mhm.
And so it's very, very interesting. And that is what's happening at midlife. We actually, literally are changing.
We're so changing.
And that is really hard for the people in our lives.
Mm.
Ruh-roh, you're supposed to be this and this and this. That I know I've developed my own strategies for dealing with that, that, and that.
Mhm.
But now if you're going to be this, and that, oh, what? I don't know how to do that. Or it triggers a lot in other people. So I think that's another fear that we have, especially as recovering good girls, if I'm changing and becoming more of my authentic self, people around us are getting uncomfortable. Do I dial it back or do I just plot ahead? And I think you and I just keep plotting ahead. And
Absolutely.
the people in our lives are dealing, or they're not.
Yes.
They go away.
Right.
If they can't handle the real, authentic Jess,
Yeah.
forged by this beautiful life that she is living actively.
Right. Because it doesn't make sense. If we're not in alignment, there's no time. You do get this
Nobody has
feeling.
time for that.
We don't have time for that anymore, right? And yes, it's so, so true. I do want to highlight a couple of really beautiful things because I feel like I came out swinging with the happy-ish, but just wanting to put that out there
But
that
that's realness.
that's realness.
And that is what wanted to come out first.
It did want to come out first.
And we're here for it. It's okay.
Just to be
Girlfriends,
the
we're here for
realness.
this.
We're here
Leave
for
a
this.
comment
Thank
down
you.
below and tell Jessica that you're here for this.
You're here for the happy-ish. Yeah. But then also the love was so beautiful. And again, I get it from you. I get it from my dear friends. And then what my family did at dinner last night was we went around and gave appreciations. It's a tradition that we do where whoever's birthday it is, we share appreciations. And a shout out to my dear old friend, Gabi Cosman Alter. He started this back in the day. I remember he was in New York, and Paul, my sweetie, and I, when we were just dating, not even married, went out to New York, got together with a group of buddies, and it was my birthday, and he did that for me. And we went around, and I, like, my family didn't grow up doing that. And ever since, like, I'm like, appreciations, appreciations, appreciation. And so it was really cute. Like, dinner was winding down and we hadn't done it. And then someone was like, oh, we got to do it. And it was just, those are the gifts. Like I love my actual gifts. I got some beautiful things. But boy, the gifts of people just sharing a memory or what they appreciate about you. I mean, that kind of love fest, I could just marinate in. And it's a really beautiful thing that it's funny. I love doing it for others. I did find myself feeling a little shy again, being the center. I think I'm more comfortable being on the giving side than the receiving side. But it's just like it's a full-on love fest. And it's really lovely. So
Did anyone record them?
no, we were in a restaurant,
Oh, okay.
but I have them up here. And it was it's one of those moments that is really great. So I bring it up also because if you do that, you know, what do you feel about it? Or if you don't, maybe try it. It's just so heartfelt. Do you do those?
We do. And remember at my 50th, we did a big one. And so Jacob did have that recorded. And so you're reminding me, I want to go back and listen to them because that's the hard thing. When you're in the moment, it's actually hard to receive.
Yeah.
Because there's so much like, oh, what are they going to say? What was that?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or you miss something that they did say. So sometimes it can be nice to go back but like in a restaurant, obviously it's going to be a little trickier.
Yeah.
But I love that. I think it's just such a beautiful thing. The people who do show up and who are there to celebrate, and how do they see you? What do they appreciate about you?
Yeah.
Like the real you. Because if they're going to be with you at your birthday, you know that they're like that's inner circle.
Yes.
Right. That's like the core people.
Right.
And so to hear from them how you impact their heart and what you mean to them. That's so beautiful.
I love it. And I love it for my sons. They've gotten quite good at doing this. They do it. We also do what we're grateful for on Thanksgiving. And it's really cool, like to allow young men to be emotional and to show appreciation. We're doing something right for the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And even Paul, who I know can feel very shy about doing that, has grown really comfortable saying some really sweet, loving things. So yeah, it's a true love fest that I will hold on to. But maybe for the party that is yet to come, I will have someone record that moment when we do a toast. That's a great idea.
I think so.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. Because it's something you want to hold on to and remember. And then imagine going back to it like when you're 70 and looking back at how we hold you and see you and also receive you and reflect that back to you. At 50, what does that look like at different stages of your life as you look back on this time? It'd be a really, really beautiful gift. A gift that keeps on giving.
And I just want to thank you because you got to go through it last year. And, in our podcast with this theme being girlfriends of a certain age, it was so fun to have you blazing through it. And I loved that. And you definitely have been in my thoughts as I'm approaching 50 because I thought you embraced it and you handled it so beautifully and you really were able to celebrate it in a really lovely way. So you were kind of a role model for
Oh,
me.
that's really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been very keen to grow up. I think there's this way, and I've shared about it a little bit, this idea that people talk about, oh, when you're older, you'll get better at boundaries when you're older. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you won't take any shit when you get older. And I kept thinking, like, well, what is that? What's happening?
Yeah.
So for me, there's an excitement of like finding more and more and more of my authenticity as I age. And the only consistent thing that elder women have been able to reflect back to me is when you get older. Like
Yeah.
almost like a don't worry about it.
Mm,
Don't sweat it. You're gonna get there.
it's a good point.
And so I think for me, it's almost like my 12-year-old is like desperate to drive. I'm like, well, homie, you got a ways to
Yeah.
go. So why don't you just relax and just be at this stage of life?
Yeah, right,
Right? You're
right.
not going to be driving for a little bit. And so it kind of feels like that. Like I'm always been rushing.
Yes, I know what you
And
mean.
so 30, 40, 50,
Mhm.
those were really like big. They felt like the step up to the next step.
Yes.
And so I feel like I'm here now, but I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh, I get to go all the way up there. That's how I feel and how I hold it. So I think that's part of it. And it's been complicated for me too. And I think also this year of being 50 was also interesting. It was really a whole
Oh.
year of like working it. So I
Yeah.
just turned 51 last week and I'm kind of like, whoo, I feel kind of through it, which is fun because
Mhm.
now it's your turn. I'm like, well, now I just got to turn my attention and draft off of your your year of being 50,
Yeah.
And so like whatever that is for you.
And that's a really good point, which is these milestone ages, you are kind of processing the whole year that you are that age.
Right. There's the lead up to it, and then there is the living into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it makes me so curious for you on this
Mm.
very public platform that we
Mm.
have, that we're sharing on right
Mm.
now live of all
Oh
things.
my word.
What do you want to share in that public context about what you're calling in for this next decade?
Oof, I love that. I think what I want to do is whatever is within my capability to really embrace life, fully embrace it, to follow the passion, to go for the things, which isn't to say that I won't have some some fear or some hesitation, but I want to fear less.
Mm.
And I think that fear, like 98% of the time, is not useful.
Well, right.
I think it's useful once in a while. I want to go forth and just be bold. I want to do that with my friendships, with my relationships. I want to let people know you are my people, right? I adore you. And just like really let everyone know that. I want to do that with my work. I want to just absolutely embrace it. I want to do it with my creative things, my creative endeavors. I'm in music improv now. We're going to start performing next month, and I just want to go for it. Like the younger performer self sometimes had um not complications, but just a little hesitancy. Can I do this? Can I step out there into the light? It's like, absolutely. And I do think that having more finite time on earth really does make you feel like it's kind of now or never. And I love that expression too. If not now, then when? If not you, then who?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, say the thing, write the book, do the show, love the person, take the trip. I want to do the things.
So as you were talking, all of that comes down to me of being vulnerable. That's what the
Mm.
fear is trying to keep you safe from, being vulnerable and showing your authentic self and getting to this beautiful age. You know yourself better than ever. Not only
Yes.
do you know her, but you honor who you've been. you know?
That is so beautiful because when we get vulnerable, we open ourselves up, is when we actually get to have the real deep relationships with other people and ourselves.
Yes.
Because then we're actually sharing like our opinions, our life experience, and then people really know who you are.
Exactly. And the people we don't trust, zoop.
Zoom. Yeah. Oh, you showed us who you are? Believe it.
I believe that
I
shit.
believe you. I'm not working on changing you. Thank you. What is the other side of fear is vulnerability and being really comfortable with that. Mm.
Yes, and maybe there's this beautiful book.
Mm.
What is it? The fear of being the magic of not of being disliked or something like that.
Ooh.
Oh, that helped blow a lid off of some shit for me as a recovering good girl.
That goes to the core
The
of
power
recovering
of
good
being
girl.
disliked.
Oh, ho, yeah. Not like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of listeners right now going like, oh, yeah, we get that one.
Because it's not easy. I want to say, I even remember the moment I really stepped into it. Someone had turned on me and I was like, oh, she's saying all these mean things about me. And then I realized this is really uncomfortable. And then I was like, it doesn't matter. She's going to say what she's going to say.
Right.
People know who she is.
Right.
They see how she just treated me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give her enough rope to hang herself. And she did.
Mm-hmm.
She did. But it was just so beautiful, like to let go. And like, it doesn't matter if people don't like me.
Yeah.
Even if they do believe the stuff she's saying.
Right.
So what?
Right. Right.
And then I got all this energy back for me, and my whole life turned direct. Everything shifted and changed in a really powerful way. And for me, it was about letting go, snipping all of those strings of worry attached to what all these people were going to think about me.
Yes. Yes.
People are going to think what they're going to think.
People are going to think what they're going to think. And the idea that we are controlling what they're going to think is kind of a silly facade anyways.
Right.
So you may as well be you.
You might as well be you. And so you might
you.
as well be vulnerable. And even if someone's like, oh, I really am uncomfortable with what you're saying, or I disagree, that's okay. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for sharing.
That is a really good point. I think I had a big aha similarly when I had actually an estrangement with a family member, and I won't get into the details of it, but just to say that really took some soul searching to go, I am estranged, but I am okay. I am a whole person. This person is unavailable to have a relationship with me, but that does not make me any less than. And I'm still surviving. And in fact, I'm thriving. I'm thriving.
Yeah.
I got much more real. I got much more real about what I wanted, what I cared about, what I didn't want.
And who you want.
And who I want. So if there's just more of that and just like really diving into that, let's bring it.
Bring it.
And don't you notice too? I feel like there's a lot of women of our age. That's what we're into. That's what we want.
That's what we want.
That's who I want to be around.
Yes. Authentic, real, honest, vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Willing to be judged, because at the end of the day, folks are going to judge. Folks are going to even dislike. Okay. Now I know who my real people are.
Exactly. Well, the dirty little secret, and this is kind of a more less tangible thing. But when you take a step back, I think there's something powerful in this. When someone has that kind of energy toward you that's not good or healthy, they're actually feeding you energy. They're giving you something, and we can transmute that bullshit. It's just energy is energy. I decide if it's good or bad. I'm deciding that. You're going to fill me up with all of your intensity and your energy and your thoughts and your disapproval. I'm going to transmute that shit into the compost that I need to build my beautiful life on top of.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
So let them hate.
Let them hate.
Let
Haters gonna hate.
Let them.
Ladies, let's let the haters hate. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
And not to say it's easy. It's not an easy path. I want to be clear.
No, being vulnerable? Are you kidding me?
And the culture doesn't support it.
Exactly. Like you'll be in the groove. I'll have meditated and I'll be in my zone, and then there'll just be something. It's an ad or it's a thing. And I go, so yeah.
Because we get tested.
We get
so
tested.
When we decide we're going to glow up or grow up and step into this new way of being, we will get tested.
Yes, we will.
right?
Yes, we will.
But damn, it's like it's fun to get faster at it. Like, oh, I don't like that. No, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cut it, let it go. It's just like you just move on into more and more authentic experiences. And so
Mm-hmm.
you've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's
Mm-hmm.
something about turning 50 that I feel like you're settling into. I feel like this sort
Yes.
of energy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And again, I took a whole year doing it. Maybe I need more than a year. I will have to see. But it is a process. We put a lot of attention on the day
We sure do.
and the party and
We
all,
do.
the
Yes.
gifts and all the
Right.
things. All right.
Right.
It's like very pinnacle, very peak experiences, as they should be,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Well
Right.
deserved. I can't be all this love being lavished on
She's
you.
there with her hands. Woo, 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 woo.
Well, because that's part of the fun, right?
And it's a love fest. Like I just want to
Yes.
reiterate that
Yeah.
for anyone who feels a little uncomfortable receiving that, it is not all about you in a funny way. Like you're sitting here, I'm loving that gesture because that's coming from my dear friend. And if I got weird and shut you off, that would make you feel weird too. So I just realized that compliments, love it's a relationship. It's not all about you.
That's true. That's true. But you having your feeling, whatever that
Yeah.
is yours. And when we step into our maturity, and if I feel weird that you're not receiving my love, I could use my energy of like, hey, you need to receive me. Or I could just
Yeah.
be like, my girl's having a moment.
Right.
Like, this isn't about me.
Right.
If it is about me, then I'll know that too, because other people are going to be giving me that feedback,
Right.
right? We have to consider the source
Right.
too. So even if you don't receive it, there's no pressure for you to receive it in a certain
Well,
way.
no, and that's a really good point. I think I was just bringing out the feeling of these pinnacle moments, which is you can enjoy all the gestures, whether or not you want to take them all in necessarily, because it doesn't amount to pressure. I think in a funny way, there's like a pressure cooker about it, that it doesn't have to be a pressure thing.
Right. And I think that's
Mhm.
what I'm kind of getting at by saying it's not just the day or the party,
Yes,
right? Because
right.
those are pinnacle peak moments, but really
Yes.
it's like this slow simmer.
It's a slow cooker.
Hmm.
It's a slow cooker
Hmm.
into the next real
Into
thing.
the next real thing.
I love that.
Girl.
I love that. We're getting real. We're getting vulnerable. We even had a little like, well, wait, what did you mean? What did you mean?
Hmm.
And that's the realness. I think too, the final thing I'll say about that all is allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to even like really go for things and not get them,
Yes.
allowing yourself to say things and go, oh, that was pretty bold, um, is a fully lived life. It is a fullness. It is a way of being that I think taps into really feeling alive.
Mm.
And I do think we're trained, obviously, as recovering good girls, to please others and not speak up our opinions and not, shake the boat and shake up the status quo. So this is a great healing exercise moving forward to do the things, say the things, and not worry about approval.
Not worry about approval.
That's a big one. We'll be
It
talking, we'll
feels
be
so
processing that one a
good.
while.
We really will, but it hits and it feels
Mhm.
good.
Yeah,
Really good.
right,
Yeah.
right.
There was a time when we were talking about you singing a little something on the pod. And I don't know if you want to do it now or you want to save it for our after hours on our Substack. What's
Yes.
the birthday girl feeling on that? So what do you think?
Let's save it for the Substack. Let's save it for the after hours. It's a little bit of a silly kind of zippy song, so we'll do that in the after hours.
Well, you know what I love about that too is like we're gonna save it for our super fans.
100%.
We're gonna save it for our super fans because we love you. Mwah!
We love you. So thank you. Thank you for shining the spotlight on me. I truly loved it. I truly love you. I love this community. I love this podcast. I love what we're doing. Uh, and hopefully you feel seen and some of this resonates with you today. But if it doesn't, I don't care because I'm being vulnerable.
Yes. As well, you should be. Happy birthday. Happy-ish birthday. Happy-ish birthday, Connie. I love you
I
too,
love you.
and I'm keeping you, and I'm gonna hold you close,
Yes.
and we're gonna do all the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mwah. Love
Mwah.
you.